Hello everybody, welcome to Also Rusty Buckets. I had a long ass day and I didn't do my laundry, so I am coming to you in my pajama pants. That's just how it is. Also, the phrase coming to you in pajama pants just came out of my mouth. So that's cool. Subscribe to this channel if you are not already. Also drop a like on this video if you have not already. That's not what the saying is, but whatever. Do it if you haven't done it already. It's not that hard. Anyways, let's talk about All-Star Weekend, which was really just All-Star Day. I do have to disclaim right out of the gate that I did not watch the Skills Challenge because the Skills Challenge is boring as shit. And that's not a slight on Sabonis, even though Sabonis is also boring as shit. But I'm just not entertained by the Skills Challenge pretty much ever. So when I was tired, I was like, I'm just going to nap for another 20 minutes instead of watching the Skills Challenge. And that was a good decision because it was the Skills Challenge. But then moving on to the three-point contest, this one was pretty solid. I was confused thinking that Mike Conley had 22 in the first round, but I flipped him with Donovan Mitchell. Jazz guards flipped him around my head. But I was like, why didn't Conley and Zach fight for it to go into the second round of the three-point contest? Because I was obviously rooting for Zach LaVine. That's not an important detail, but I just went on a tangent about it. But it was, of course, Stephen Curry that won this one by just 1 point. What annoyed me, my one pet peeve coming out of this game, or this contest, is that Steph did what he did, and in the first round, I think he had 31 points, and the commentators immediately flipped it into a debate about who you would want to take the last shot between him and Dame, which we've been talking about for fucking ever. And it's just bad commentary. Just relish in the moment. You don't need to bring out this stupid fucking debate in the middle of Steph Curry doing something awesome. I can't speak right now. But yeah, that was frustrating. I'll talk about the dunk contest because I'm not going to split it into the All-Star game and then dunk contest halfway through. But the dunk contest was halfway through the All-Star game and it fucking sucked. Definitely the worst All-Star game of my lifetime. And I will say it's not really the players' fault. It's not like the players did anything wrong. It's just the energy in the building was non-existent. There's 2,500 fans in the arena, which I think is morally wrong. But being that they're there, you'd think they'd bring some energy, but they just didn't. And then what made it even worse was that the players were not giving any energy at all. They were just sitting there watching and even a crazy dunk would happen, or at least a good dunk, and they just continue to sit there. Part of that is that they just played half of a game, so they're going to be a little bit tired, but I mean, shit, there was just no one in the arena seemed to care. The commentators were trying to make it sound interesting, wasn't really working. The judges were just sitting there still. There was debate about who should have won. It ended up being Anthony Simons who won this one. I don't really care, to be honest. The thing is, I just wasn't invested in the contest at all. I just didn't care. I think it's kind of dumb to get mad about this unless you're a fan of one of the players that didn't get it. The guy on the Pacers whose name I've already forgotten, which, sorry, I'm sure that's going to bother people, but I've forgotten his name. And then and Obi Toppin didn't get it, obviously, but I didn't care. I just simply didn't care. So the fact that maybe a dunk didn't get a high enough score, or maybe a dunk got too high of a score or whatever, or this dunk was better than this dunk, but yet it got 5 points more, just wasn't invested in it, and that's unfortunate. The dunk contest seems very hit or miss, and this was yet another year of miss, and it seems a lot more miss lately than hit, and that's tragic. And it's not the players' fault. Like I said before, I'd like to see bigger names in it, even if they're not necessarily the best dunkers. It's just the bigger names tend to have more confidence and they bring more energy with their names, and that's just how it is. Didn't happen there. It was frustrating seeing Zion and Zach LaVine on the baseline, or on the side of the court, just standing there watching. Guys, you could literally put on one of the best dunk contests of all time, and you're just sitting there. It is what it is on the dunk contest front. Let's talk about this All-Star game. This All-Star game definitely happened. That's what I have to take. I mean, there were definitely cool moments in it, as there's always going to be in an All-Star game. I don't think this is an all-time All-Star game or anything like that. So I'm just going to go through the box score so I can kind of pick through the main things. So Giannis won All-Star MVP. He was 16 for 16 from the field, which is a good way to do it. Although I will say, from just a entertainment point of view, Steph Curry was definitely the most entertaining guy in this game. Damian Lillard also got in there with a good amount of entertainment himself because these guys were pulling. They both hit 8 3-pointers. Actually, were both 8 for 16, so that's cool. Game ended on Dame pulling from very deep. And at the end of the half, Dame pulled up from half court, and then Steph pulled up from half court. So it was just like raining 3-pointers. I'm actually curious what the total was. So Team LeBron had 31 3-pointers, and Team Durant had 27. And at 72 and 61 attempts. Jesus, that's 130 fucking shots from three. And that's out of 130 out of 100 or 221. Man, my dad was complaining about how many threes they were taking, and honestly, I actually see it a little bit now that I'm looking at this box score. I didn't realize it was that high of volume. Wow. Anyways, Zion Williamson kind of disappointing in this one. Now I'm looking at the box score. Like he was fine after, but like the first 3 attempts he got at the basket, he just completely fumbled. I gotta talk about Zach LaVine. Obviously, he was fine in this game. I wish he would have gotten more shots because he only shot the ball 12 times or 10 times in almost 29 minutes, which is not a lot. Especially being that Zach is who he is. I mean, I feel like there was a lot of possessions where he had an opportunity to score and he just passed it because he didn't want to seem like he was ball hogging or anything like that. But in my head, I was like, dude, just shoot. And it's just like when I was watching Jimmy Butler in his first All-Star appearance. I had rooted for him that entire year to make it, and Zach, same way this year. Basically, the entire game that they're on the floor, I'm just like, give it to Zach. And back in 2015, I was like, give it to Jimmy. So yeah, my bias coming out there. Otherwise, I mean, this game was fine. Team LeBron, I didn't realize how fucking stacked Team LeBron was until it actually came to be. I'm pretty sure Embiid was on Team Durant, like almost certain, and that didn't help was that he was out with the virus, and then Durant's obviously out with an injury, so that just made the roster just like, okay, well, this is clearly fucking lopsided. And actually, I'm surprised that the game was as close as it was, because like being the difference in talent, like think about it, the starting lineup let me just read out the starting lineup for you. So for Team LeBron, Steph, Luka, LeBron, Giannis, and Jokic. For Team Durant, Kyrie, Beal, Leonard, Tatum, Zion. Like, come on, that's a clear difference in talent. James Harden, though, did play about as much time as Beal, actually much more than Kawhi, who really was just, he was one of the biggest cases of like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Yeah, also LeBron, he didn't play the second half at all. Like, he made it clear that he didn't want to be there before it even happened. This is probably, if I had to guess, LeBron's worst all-star stat line. 4 points, 2 for 7, 12 minutes, 4 assists. Just didn't care, and I don't blame him. And that's just an overarching thing with this All-Star weekend in general. I mean, All-Star in general, like the game, it seems like players don't care. They had the same format as last year where it was like the most any player cares about an All-Star game that we've ever seen. But Kobe Bryant's death happening right before that was a huge part of that. Like the spirit of the game and all that was like, everybody's trying to show out for Kobe. That obviously was not going to keep going on this year. Even though the format, I still believe, is a bit more competitive. I think one of the biggest reasons is just how lopsided the teams are. You're not going to get as competitive a game, even if they have the energy to be competitive. The fact that there's such a lopsided difference in talent, it's not going to be close enough for the energy to really be there. And that's kind of what it was in this game, because once we got into the fourth quarter, there was a 20-point deficit. So it's kind of hard to make that comeback, even though Team Durant did put up a valiant effort, but just not enough. So that was it. Also, I kind of want to talk about Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. I talked about this All-Star weekend, like when it was announced that it was officially happening. I gotta stop saying weekend because it's literally just been a day. But like the fact when it was announced, like a lot of people were like, "It's a bad idea." I was in that camp. I think Funky Diabetic in his video today said that if the guy who was the barber for Embiid and Ben just missed, like, got his test an hour later Like, that could have been the difference between like the NBA being shut down for 2 weeks, because one of those guys would have come in contact, and then suddenly every star player in the league is doing contact tracing. That would be a serious fucking deal for the league. And I mean, it could very well come out after this that something happened and this looks like a massive failure. They had 2,500 fans in the arena, and I thought it was pretty fucking ludicrous that they would do that, and then also have like them doing some like tribute to all of the essential workers out there. And it's like, dude, you can just do the kind of shitty thing and not pretend like you're a good person while doing it. Just like let it go. You just don't do that. Just be kind of shitty. Like, you could have just not had fans in the arena and then done all the protocol you had to, and it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But then to have 2,500 fans in an arena in one of the biggest hotspots in the country, and then to be like, shout out to all the essential workers whose lives were making a lot more difficult by continuing to spread this virus. Fuck that. I was really annoyed by that, and I'm sorry this had such a negative turn. I wasn't planning on going down this road, but yeah, that was annoying. The NBA kind of dodged a bullet. The fact, like, that test could have come back an hour later and things would have been drastically different. I saw Embiid complaining about it before the game, which, I mean, what he was saying was funny. And he was also implying that, like, bro, all these players are also in a similar circumstance. Like, he was like, I think he said, I'm looking at all these fresh cuts on the court, and I'm the one who didn't get to go to the game. So basically implying all of these players are also in circumstances like that, and they managed to make the game. So yeah, I mean, I can understand frustration, but like, dude, you broke protocol and saw the consequences of that. He also tweeted Mickey Mouse All-Star Game. So yeah, it's definitely it's definitely cool seeing an NBA player adopt that meme. I went from hating that meme to loving it. It's like so incredibly stupid that it's perfect. Anyways, that was my opinion on the All-Star Game. I mean, there wasn't too much to say. I have no idea what I'm going to title this one. I might just title it "So All-Star Weekend Happened." I don't have a strong feeling, really. A dunk contest was lame. 3-point contest was good. All-Star Game could have been better if the teams were not more lopsided, but it was. Plenty of cool moments in the game, but nothing extraordinary. Not too much to say. But you watched a video of me talking about what I did have to say. So there you go. Zach LaVine was an all-star, though, so ultimately I'm happy.